the middle of the 18th century, many people from Germany immigrated to Brazil. And it was really a big movement of immigration in the years about 1840. And then I decided one day to make a film about this time. But the story was missing. I didn't know the story. And then after more than 20 years filmmaking, the story came to me. This was the story of my brother who died in 2008. And when I came into the house after his death, I couldn't believe the house was full of books. He lived in this village, in the German village, where we come from, and he studied all these languages without ever have been outside of his village. And that was the story for me. A character, somebody who dreams about faraway places on the world, and he never leaves his country, but he learns about the world from his books.
É pelas palavras que ele vive e é pelas palavras que ele é condenado. E há aqui dois paralelos interessantes no filme, que é, por um lado, que é, de certa maneira, os tribunais que o condenam, que são também locais de stand-up, ou seja, não é de comédia, mas também lugares onde a palavra é decisiva. Ele é condenado pelas palavras e é sempre pelas palavras que nos tribunais também, digamos que há o reverso da liberdade do artista. O outro paralelo é o paralelo com a namorada dele, Honey Bruce, que curiosamente tem a profissão de stripper. E há aqui um paralelo muito interessante também, porque de facto o que ele faz com as palavras é também uma forma de striptease, digamos assim. É tudo relações que as personagens estabelecem com o corpo. Ele pelo lado da fala e ela pelo lado, obviamente, do lado visual, do corpo e da sensualidade.
The footage kept repeating, and they walked around. They stirred from their corners and visited the other rooms or stood in front of the TV wall. They were like tourists walking through the rooms of some small private collection, the Zapruder Museum, one item on permanent display, the 20-some-odd seconds of a home movie, and it runs continuously. It ran continuously. Men who carried the power of the state, the film muddied by sun glint, riding in a car with their confident wives, all the jostled quality of birthday footage. Or they stayed on the floor and passed a joint and just kept looking in an acquired sort of awe. Here comes the car. Here comes the shot. And it was amazing that there were forces in the culture that could out-imagine them, make their druggiest terrors seem futile and cheap. Years later, in the 1980s, roughly 20 years after the assassination, I came across a fact in a book I'd been reading about the assassination, which was that Lee Harvey Oswald lived in the Bronx, only 4 or 5 blocks from where I lived at the same time. I was 16, he was 13 or 14. It was widely known that he'd spent a year with his mother in the Bronx when he was a teenager, but I had no idea he'd lived so close to me. And it made me wonder if I'd ever run across him. He used to play hooky and go to the Bronx Zoo. He would miss a day of school and go to the Bronx Zoo, which was nearby. And I often went to the zoo. And I wondered if I had ever seen him there or anywhere else. And it began to occur to me, simply due to this fact, that I might possibly undertake a novel on the subject of the assassination. And of course, I went back to the Bronx and investigated the area. And what I knew simply was that at least for that year of the time he was there, he was seeing, and I was seeing and feeling, or seeing and hearing the same things that he was seeing and hearing. We had this, if nothing else, in common. And then it gave me enough confidence to think seriously about doing a novel. And the novel, Libra, does begin in the Bronx when Oswald is a teenager.